sort through that.
I'm working through it.
You can try to figure it out.
And
also with us, we've got the author and former special counsel to the Clinton White House, Lanny Davis. He's out with the new book, The Unmaking of the President, 2016, How FBI Director James Comey Cost Hillary Clinton the presidency.
Okay.
I'm so glad you say this, because after the election, I went to church, and I had all these Democrats come up to me going, oh, they stole votes in Michigan. They stole votes in Wisconsin. The Russians. I was like, dude, it wasn't the Russians. It was James Comey. And you've written an entire book, about, which, of course, makes the entire Republican FBI conspiracy so ludicrous, because the FBI director elected Donald Trump, and you have charts to prove it.
Can I do Steve Ratner, an old friend?
Do it.
oh boy.
Chart number one is the morning, October 28th. I hope you show this.
Letter.
Morning, 1 p.m. was Comey letter. This is the standing of Hillary Clinton.
Okay, hold on a second, guys. Here's the deal. When he's holding up charts, you've got to actually show the charts.
Yeah,
okay.
I like that.
I'm not really a TV guy.
This is the second one is even better. 5.9% the morning of October 28th, and her trend line is up in Real Clear Politics. That's larger than Obama.
Okay, so
chart number two.
Okay.
Look at the chart that starts on October 28th. Comey hits, and this is the 3 states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin.
11 days.
And she's up by 5 and 6%. And then finally, here's the electoral map.
Right.
According to Real Clear Politics, without the Comey letter, she wins by 332 electoral votes.
Normally,
it's just simply math.
Nika, normally I would say, you know what, though? A lot of times there are swings the last week of the campaign. I remember when we heard the news, we both said, oh, my God, this is going to change everything.
Yeah.
And it did, just like that.
We definitely said
And I was on the Clinton plane, and the minute that happened, we knew what was going on.
Here's the irony.
those pictures from that day on that plane are
Devastating.
Yeah.
The Nunes memo and the conspiracy that Republicans are now trying to sell, that the FBI is a left-wing, pro-Clinton conspiracy. Are you kidding?
It's
in fact, the FBI is a great institution. Donald Trump attacking the institution of the FBI rather than individual members who hurt Hillary Clinton far more than they did Donald Trump.
Noah.
So the timeline now is sort of shifting from what we understand happened. The October 28th letter occurs because James Comey is informed that emails that were forwarded to whom Ebeden were on Anthony Weiner's computer. Anthony Weiner was under investigation for improper contacts with a minor. McCabe sat on those emails for a month. We understand that now. The donation story drops in the Wall Street Journal October 24. The emails drop in October 28th. He recuses himself November 1. Does your book deal with the fact that Mr. McCabe could have and should have informed Mr. Comey of these emails, and thus that 11-day timeline in between the drop of this information and the exoneration of Hillary Clinton would have occurred far earlier?
And the irony is that McCabe not reporting right away, slow-walking the New York City agents, slow-walking for a full month, reporting to Washington, it would have been all over in 6 days in the middle of October.
That's the lunacy. Again, suggesting that McCabe worked to hurt Hillary Clinton. If he had released that information,
she'd be president
3
of the
weeks
United
earlier,
States.
it would have been absorbed.
But he thought he was helping her.
And she would have been president.
You don't know what he
States.
wrote there. I know that he advised Comey to write the letter that turned the election around, and I know that the FBI had the information in early October and could have done it within 6 days.
Whatever he was trying to do, he helped elect Donald Trump by not releasing
Reading a man's motives is unfair
Marcus,
unless
help me out here, because yes, there are all these different players that you write about who pass the information at inopportune times. But isn't it Anthony Weiner who had the information on his laptop? Isn't that where the responsibility begins for the problems for Hillary Clinton?
So I don't
let Ruth answer. Ruth?
There's, you know, it's like the Passover song, Dayenu. It would have been enough. And if this hadn't happened, and if this hadn't happened, and if this hadn't happened, Hillary Clinton would have been elected president. But the reality is we are where we are.
So quick
But
response.
there were a lot of, you know, you can unravel it back to a lot of different things. But boy, I think you're also right, Mika. Well, if not for Anthony Weiner, a lot of things.
I got to have
As Hillary Clinton used to say back during the 90s, when they were in the middle of their investigations. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Well, I mean,
Can I just quickly respond to my old friend Ruth?
Yeah, really quickly.
Diana, I
Hi,
can sing
Larry.
the song. Two facts can be true. There are lots of reasons why she lost, and but for James Comey, she'd be president of the United States, and I proved that in my book.
So, Ruth, I want to go to one of your columns where you say people comparing Donald Trump to Richard Milhouse Nixon is a real attack on Richard Milhouse Nixon. Explain.
Pretty astonishing for those of us who grew up on Watergate and the Watergate hearings. But here's the thing. Though Nixon totally tried to corrupt the system, he also at least pledged loyalty and purported to work within the system. For example, Archibald Cox, the Watergate special prosecutor, was a very close ally of the Kennedy family. Ted Kennedy was there at his swearing in, I believe, as Watergate special prosecutor. Richard Nixon, though he privately seethed about who was running that investigation, never publicly attacked him as biased or corrupt or anything else. Think about how that contrasts with the way Donald Trump has yelled about Mueller and the witch hunt and the rigged system.
And Ruth, he's attacking the very people that he's appointed.
Yes.
Well, and really
I mean,
quickly
Mueller's
also,
a Republican.
When the Supreme Court said he had to turn over the tapes, even though he knew that was the end of his presidency, he complied with the Supreme Court order.
In the end, he complied.
Yeah.
We'll see what
these
happens
are hard
here.
decisions, but ultimately they come down to men with perverted tendencies being protected, and then things getting out of hand. I mean, seriously. When Anthony Weiner's story first broke, he should have been out of the picture. He should have not had access to any of his wife's laptops. Hillary Clinton's email should not have been on Anthony Weiner's laptop. I feel bad that you're focused on Comey, who had to make a decision about what to do about this information that came his way.
Well, by
it's
the
not
way,
his fault.
let me just say,
that
I feel less bad because
sexter to kids
Well,
had a laptop with all of Uma's emails on them.
that was a terrible mistake, but what the FBI did and how Comey handled that in writing that letter
was wrong.
when he wrote it was wrong in every way. Holding a press conference after he didn't indict her and then indicting her politically was wrong in every way. And I could list 1,000 things that Barack Obama and the Justice Department did wrong, with the president weighing in on the investigation.
One sentence.
twice.
Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General, wrote a memo that was exactly right, nailed what Comey did, violated every Justice Department policy. No prosecutor could possibly agree with what Comey did.
Mika, final thoughts?
Ruth Marcus, thank you. Lanny Davis, thank you as well. His new book is The Unmaking of the President, 2016.
Mika, what are your final thoughts?
Well, I